In our current reality, where connections are progressively computerized, it's essential to comprehend the characters that run into we ways. Today, we jump profound into the human mind to reveal the unpretentious, however strong indications of a risky person. It's not generally the shadowy figures in dull rear entryways. Frequently, it's the individual you least anticipate, the one inconspicuous aloofness. An old way of thinking shows us the significance of perception. What's more, comprehension of human way of behaving, not only for judgment, be that as it may, for security. Stoics desires to look past appearances to see the signs before they unfurl into activities. As we investigate these signs, recollect information isn't simply power. It's assurance, it's a safeguard made not from dread, yet from shrewdness and acumen. So, how about we arm ourselves with the experiences that could defend our tranquility also, maybe even our lives, as we recognize the 10 critical qualities of possibly perilous people hiding in our regular daily existences, assuming you value the bits of knowledge we're sharing here? A straightforward free blessing I'll ask from you is to raise a ruckus around town button. Sign number 1. What's more, please stay with us all through each portion of this video is made to improve your comprehension and well-being picture. Somebody who appears to continuously have the ideal words brilliantly, not just to elevate, however, quietly to twist your will to theirs. It begins, honestly enough, maybe with little blessings or choices. In any case, over the long haul, this control turns into a steady string, woven into each cooperation they could utilize adulation responsibility, or then again, even commitment to control you towards their ideal result. Unpretentiously dissolving your capacity to pursue free decisions, apathy educates us about the force of our own personalities, our ability to pick our reactions instead of basically respond even with manipulative way of behaving. An unemotional would encourage us to keep up with the separation from our nearby close-to-home reactions. Why? Since when we stop and reflect, we gain the capacity to see the manipulative strategies for what they are, outer endeavors to impact our inward choices. This point of view isn't tied in with excusing our feelings, yet rather grasping them as signs instead of directs. Thusly, we can hold our ground all the more solidly. What's more, act concurring to our own normal choices. We figure out how to perceive at the point when our strings are being pulled. Furthermore, more significantly, instructions to cut those strings. What's more, recover our independence. As we talk about these manipulative ways of behaving, consider how they affect you and why is it a twinge of responsibility. A brush of honeyed words. Perceive these sentiments be that as it may. Don't allow them to cloud your judgment. Rather use them as hints to the controller's down. In doing as such, you epitomize the unemotional ideal, not a pawn to outer powers yet, a fortification impenetrable to the impulses of another. This approach not just safeguards you, yet in addition engages you to have your existence with aim and honesty. Envision a situation where somebody reliably pulls at your heartstrings. Sign number 2, or on the other hand, sets off your frailties to fill their need. This could appear as a companion who generally has a tragic account right when they need some help, or on the other hand, an accomplice who exaggerates their mistake at the point when you put down stopping points close to home. Control is a complex type of control. It resembles being a mannequin in another person's hands, where your sentiments are the strings. Emotionlessness offers a hearty safeguard against this. The way of thinking energizes us to isolate our interior world from outer impacts. This is pivotal while managing profound control, since it constrains us to assess our responses. Are we answering a veritable need? Or then again, are we being cajoled into feeling a specific way? Emotionless make progress toward interior amicability. Furthermore, strength characteristics that assist us with standing up to being influenced by unnecessary close-to-home requests by rehearsing apathy. you can foster the capacity to perceive the real essence of your feelings. Is this responsibility I'm feeling my own, or on the other hand, has it been established there by another person's assumptions? Is my compassion being summoned, really? Or then again, am I being moved into a particular activity? At the point when you begin posing these inquiries, you start to destroy the controllers. Impact over you recollect. There's no need to focus on smothering your feelings. It's tied in with grasping them and emotionless purposes, reason to explore through profound waters, guaranteeing that they respond not out of prompt inclination, however, from a position of adjusted, insightful thought. This psychological discipline liberates you from being unduly impacted by others. Profound games. What's more, permits you to keep up with certifiable solid connections in view of shared regard. Not profound obligation. This isn't simply self-security. It's self-strengthening, cultivating a day-to-day existence where your profound honesty is unblemished and treasured. Picture somebody who gradually, unpretentiously starts to edge between you. What's more, your encouraging group of people. It very well may be an accomplice who recommends your companions. Don't actually figure out you as they do, or a relative who unobtrusively scrutinizes those you are near sign Dara 3, sowing seeds of uncertainty about their expectations. This control isn't unmistakably threatening, it's not unexpected. Shrouded in concern or love, making it especially deceptive also, difficult to defy. Stoics show us the significance of local area also, emotionally supportive networks, as outside signs of our inner qualities and decisions. They advise us that genuine autonomy isn't tied in with being confined yet, about picking those who really support, furthermore, advance our lives according to an emotionless point of view. Segregation strategies undermine our own moral judgment by cutting off the connections that reflect, furthermore, build up our qualities. Stoics would prompt us to be careful about any person who urges us to remove these associations, as it is an indication that they might be attempting to apply control. It's essential to evaluate whether somebody's exhortation to reduce most, if not all, connection with others is genuinely for our advantage, or on the other hand, assuming it's for their benefit. When confronted with potential seclusion strategies and emotionless, would direct us to keep up with. Furthermore, fortify our bonds with others, perceiving these associations as imperative to our prosperity and strength. They would urge us to reflect profoundly on the purposes for our connections. Furthermore, to confide in our ability to pass judgment who is really for us. By maintaining our social bonds, we not just oppose manipulative detachment, yet additionally confirm our responsibility to carrying on with a day-to-day existence lined up with our qualities. Thinking about this, assuming you at any point feel compelled to disconnect from those you trust, accept it as a crucial point in time to stop. What's more, counsel your internal compass. This isn't about rebellion for the good of its own, in any case, about shielding your own area of opportunity. Your entitlement to pick your organization, also. Your persuasions in doing as such, you honor both your indifferent standards. What's more, your intrinsic social nature envision managing with somebody whose words and activities try not to arrange one day they're strong and kind. Furthermore, the following they're far off or contemptuous without clear explanation. This sort of irregularity can befuddle sign Mama 4. What's more, is many times a conscious strategy to keep you wobbly. It resembles strolling on moving sands, never entirely knowing what's in store. This eccentricism can profoundly agitate. Furthermore, is an exemplary trademark of manipulative people. Indifferent take a stab at inward consistency as a feature of their ethicalness. They try to adjust their considerations, words, and activities amicably when confronted with somebody whose conduct is ridiculously conflicting. An indifferent could see this as a significant sign of the individual's need of ideals and uprightness. This doesn't mean a snap judgment or, on the other hand, prompt withdrawal, yet rather a contemplated reflection on the ramifications of these disparities. An unemotional would prompt us to notice and reflect. Instead of respond right away thusly, we can keep up with our internal harmony. Furthermore, not be influenced by each adjustment of another person's disposition or activities. This deliberate reaction permits us to survey whether these irregularities are basically human imperfections or, on the other hand, indications of a more profound manipulative expectation. The vital here is to stay consistent with your standards, to hold consistent to your sense of direction. Indeed, even notwithstanding outside irregularity. Think about the unemotional practice of zeroing in on what is inside our control, while we have no control over another's way of behaving. We have some control over our responses to it. We can pick to answer in manners that maintain our respect and inner harmony, assuming somebody's irregularity is intended to control, or on the other hand, control, perceiving that reality engages us, not to lock in with the games being played. We can then choose whether to address the way of behaving straightforwardly, put down firm stopping points, or, on the other hand, maybe distance ourselves if fundamental irregularity in somebody's activities. Furthermore, words can act as an advance notice sign that requires cautious consideration by applying emotionless insight. We can stay focused and lucid, simply deciding that safeguard our prosperity while sticking to our qualities of genuineness and uprightness. Self-absorption isn't just about self-esteem, it's a more profound mental characteristic. Sign number 5, where people see their own requirements and points of view as predominantly more huge than those of others. This can appear in an absence of sympathy, a penchant for self-absorption. What's more, incessant dismissal for others' sentiments, or on the other hand, needs picture somebody in your life who appears to have a boundless need for profound respect. Also, consideration their cooperations could frequently rotate around their accomplishments, their longings, or their concerns, seldom recognizing yours except if it serves their finishes, aloofness with its emphasis on ideals. Also, local area offers a convincing cure to self-absorbed propensities. Stoics have confidence in the turn of events of mindfulness and poise as a way to agreeably live inside a local area. They instruct us that genuine confidence comes from our activities being in accordance with moral temperances, not from outer approval for those managing with self-centered people. Emotionlessness energizes a return to these fundamental beliefs. Intelligence, equity, mental fortitude, and control. An unemotional way to deal with taking care of an egomaniac includes grasping the root of their way of behaving frequently, a significant feeling of uncertainty concealed by their outward bluster. While it's difficult, emotionlessness helps us to answer with compassion and persistence, perceiving that their way of behaving is at last destructive to themselves too. Anyway, apathy likewise underscores safeguarding one's inward harmony. Furthermore, moral respectability, which implies defining limits with those who reliably display self-involved ways of behaving. This isn't about discipline or, on the other hand, removing in a spirit of meanness. However, about safeguarding one's own prosperity despite ways of behaving that can be genuinely depleting or manipulative. Besides, emotionlessness helps us to withdraw from the need to change the egotist, zeroing in rather on how we can answer in manners that are inside our control, quiet-formed, and with an unmistakable comprehension of our own qualities. We are reminded that our value not entirely settled by how we are dealt with by somebody with self-absorbed qualities. Rather, our value comes from our ability to live consistent with our standards. Sign number 6, despite outer conditions. By applying these emotionless standards, we can explore connections with egotistical people all the more. Really, we learn not to take care of into their requirement for steady consideration and deference. What's more, to safeguard our energy by not getting excessively involved in the close-to-home confusion. They frequently make this position isn't about cool aloofness, however, about an empathetic separation that permits us to collaborate with them in a manner that tells the truth and honesty, filled, however, defending our close-to-home well-being. This sign is urgent since it goes past straightforward character conflicts. Hostility can appear as both a verbal, also actual danger to your prosperity. Picture somebody who utilizes their resentment as a weapon. They could speak more loudly, often hinder you, or, then again, even retreat to actual terrorizing to state strength. This way of behaving can make any communication want to tread lightly, as you might very well won't ever be aware what will set off their annoyance next. According to an emotionless viewpoint, hostility is a central infringement of reasonable, furthermore social agreement. Emotionlessness instructs that valid strength lies in discretion and reasonableness, not in overwhelming others. Emotionless endeavor to resist the urge to panic, even with incitement, seeing hostility as a shortcoming, an inability to get a grip on one's feelings. Marcus Aurelius accepted that the best retribution isn't to turn into like the attacker. Thusly, while managing a forceful person, an emotionless could concentrate on staying totally under control. Furthermore, answering with reason as opposed to responding rashly. Anyway, emotionlessness doesn't advocate for latent acknowledgement of mischief. It trains us to safeguard our inward harmony by picking how we answer hostility. Assuming somebody is verbally forceful, we can decide to separate as opposed to raise what is going on in circumstances where actual hostility is a danger. Focusing on well-being also, looking for help becomes fundamental. An emotionless methodology in such situations includes making determined objective choices about how to safeguard oneself. Sign the 7 instead of answering with comparable aggression. Additionally, emotionlessness urges us to think about what triggers forceful way of behaving in others. Frequently, such activities originate from firmly established dread, frailty, or torment. Figuring out this can cultivate a feeling of pity as opposed to outrage, permitting us to see the attacker as somebody battling to deal with their feelings. This understanding doesn't legitimize their activities. However, it can assist us with answering them with a reasonable point of view, limiting the profound effect on our lives. Managing hostility successfully requires a mix of compassion, key withdrawal, also decisive limit setting by applying indifferent standards. We learn not exclusively to safeguard ourselves from prompt mischief, yet additionally to develop a climate where judicious. What's more, deferential associations are focused on diminishing the general presence of hostility in our lives. Envision somebody who reliably depicts themselves as the unending casualty, regardless of the situation. This isn't just about looking for compassion. A system controls discernments, making it trying to address their way of behaving without having all the earmarks of being the assailant. They frequently divert liability, making it hard for other people to consider them responsible, making a story where they are consistently the violated party. Emotionlessness gives an insightful way to deal with taking care of such circumstances. Stoics instruct that outside conditions don't hurt us. Maybe it is our translation of these occasions that can cause us trouble. This way of thinking urges us to look past the surface. Furthermore, grasp the more profound inspirations behind somebody's casualty mindset. It's not unexpected an indication of their powerlessness to assume a sense of ownership with their activities, or on the other hand, to feel in charge of their life by continually moving fault. They try not to confront their deficiencies. Furthermore, the inconvenience of development. An emotionless methodology includes recognizing the difficulties the individual sees, however keeping an unmistakable limit. Sign number 8, among understanding and empowering, it's vital to relate without becoming involved in their account. This implies offering support while empowering responsibility, cultivating a climate where valuable criticism is given. Furthermore, God straightforwardly Stoics put stock in the temperance of truth and trustworthiness. Furthermore, by sticking to these standards, we can help guide somebody out of the casualty attitude by empowering them to impartially see circumstances. Moreover, aloofness stresses our obligation to our own mental harmony while interfacing with somebody who has a casualty mindset. Safeguarding our prosperity is urgent by not permitting their point of view to misshape our existence. We should stay firm in our comprehension also, convictions guaranteeing that our activities mirror our qualities. Furthermore, not receptive reactions to manipulative ways of behaving. Managing a casualty mindset through an emotionless focal point shows us the equilibrium between empathy. Furthermore, separation. We figure out how to offer assistance without getting hauled into personal unrest, advancing a better unique that supports moral obligation. Furthermore, development, both for us and the person. Showing these attributes here, a person reliably accepts they are better, more brilliant, or more significant than others, frequently communicating scorn for those they think about mediocre. This outlook doesn't simply strain connections, it makes a disruptive climate where authentic association also, common regard, are almost unimaginable individuals with a predominance complex frequently anticipate exceptional treatment. Furthermore, may become rankled, assuming they feel they're not getting the concession they accept. They merit apathy, offers significant bits of knowledge into managing this quality. Stoics advocate for modesty. What's more, the balance surprisingly concerning moral worth. They instruct that genuine predominance is accomplished through uprightness and insight, not societal position or abundance, an individual with an unemotional mentality. Sign of 9 comprehends that everybody has something important to offer. Furthermore, that gaining from others is a long-lasting interaction. This viewpoint is establishing. It advises us that we are all important for the human local area, each with our own assets. Furthermore, shortcomings while interfacing with somebody showing a prevalence complex and indifferent methodology includes keeping calm also, not taking part in fights for control, or on the other hand, self-image fights. Aloofness instructs us not to actually take presumption. Maybe we consider it to be a statement of the other individual's internal conflict, or then again, frailty by answering with tranquility. Furthermore, not taking care of into their requirement for prevalence, we can here and there energize a more adjusted cooperation. Also, Stoics center on personal growth, as opposed to attempting to decrease others to help their confidence when confronted with somebody who has a predominance complex. We can utilize the collaboration as a chance to rehearse persistence, understanding, and maybe to challenge their perspectives delicately in a deferential and smart way. Apathy energizes us to show others how it's done, appearing through our activities. That a quiet also, adjusted disposition is more compelling also, compensating than one based on self. For grandizement, managing a prevalence complex through emotionlessness includes a profound comprehension of equity. Furthermore, the transient nature of outer accomplishments. It trains us to moor our self-esteem in our virtues as opposed to near measurements. Furthermore, in doing so, give an unpretentious getting through model to the people who might feel a sense of urgency to state their strength in less productive ways. This methodology doesn't simply assist with diffusing strain, it cultivates a more comprehensive, also conscious climate picture. Somebody who appears interminably disappointed with what others have, whether it's their prosperity connections or assets this individual could minimize, others' accomplishments, spread antagonism, or on the other hand, even damage others. Endeavors out of jealousy, desire, and jealousy are disastrous feelings. Sign Warmon 10 that not just mischief connections yet, in addition consume the internal harmony of the individual, holding on to these sentiments, according to an emotionless point of view. Desire and jealousy are seen as unreasonable. Furthermore, self-hurting feelings established in off-track values. That's what Stoics trust. Our happiness ought to come from the inside in view of our ethics. Furthermore, our command over our own decisions as opposed to outside conditions or, then again, examinations with others. They educate that easy street relies upon our inside moral state, not on outer belongings or status. When confronted with desire or jealousy, an emotionless methodology empowers us to zero in on appreciation. Also, the development of individual greatness, rather than focusing on what others have, Stoics would exhort us to see the value in what we have. What's more, working on ourselves. This lines up with the apathetic guideline of zeroing in on what we have some control over, instead of using energy on what is past our compass or insignificant to our ethical self. In managing an individual who shows desire and jealousy, aloofness instructs us to answer with sympathy. Furthermore, understanding, perceiving that these feelings frequently originate from uncertainty, or then again, disappointment with one's own life, by exemplifying a feeling of liberality. Furthermore, non-intensity. We might possibly rouse others to ponder their own perspectives. What's more, maybe rethink their way to deal with life and joy. Also, apathy exhorts us to prepare for allowing ourselves to be impacted by others' desirous or jealous ways of behaving. It shows us flexibility, permitting us to stay unaffected by the negative energies of others, keeping up with our emphasis on our own way. Also, self-awareness. This not just makes a difference in developing a sound, mental self-portrait, yet additionally advances a more strong, also less aggressive local area. Taking care of envy, also envy with apathetic insight, includes going internal to our own ideals, also outward with empathy also. Understanding this approach not just makes a difference, alleviate the unsafe effect of such feelings. See you soon. Yet additionally cultivates a climate where people are empowered to be their best selves, liberated from the limitations of correlation and disdain. Envision somebody who appears to not be able to associate with or comprehend the feelings of others. They could excuse your sentiments as superfluous or overreactive, or on the other hand, they could neglect the close-to-home pain of others, completely zeroing in exclusively on rationale or their own necessities. This absence of sympathy not just makes significant connections troublesome in any case, can likewise prompt a virus. Also confining climate for all interested parties. Aloofness, while frequently misconstrued as advancing close-to-home separation, in reality offers an important point of view on sympathy. Apathetic make progress toward a comprehension of human instinct. What's more, feelings encouraging a judicious. What's more, caring reaction to the enduring of others. They have faith in the significance of local area and backing, perceiving that our lives are interconnected. What's more, that the prosperity of others straightforwardly influences our own in an emotionless way. To deal with an absence of compassion, one would be energized to develop their capacity to comprehend. What's more, discuss the thoughts of others, not really through close-to-home disease. However, through a profound, reasonable perception of human frailties and requirements. Stoics practice process, or on the other hand, mindfulness, which includes being careful of our viewpoints. Furthermore, responses and stretching out this attention to the feelings. Furthermore, requirements of others around us while managing somebody who shows an absence of compassion. Apathy trains us to show others how it's done by exhibiting compassion ourselves. We can here and there move it in others. This includes effectively tuning in. Approving others' sentiments also, showing certified concern and backing the indifferent idea of sympathia. Or, on the other hand, shared association highlights that, by assisting with reinforcing the close-to-home, getting it of people around us. We add to a more agreeable, what's more, steady local area besides emotionlessness, supports us to stay patient. What's more, non-critical toward those who appear to be deficient in compassion. It's conceivable that their profound reactions have been adapted by encounters or inborn qualities that limit their ability for sympathy instead of censuring this need. Stoics would exhort us to give an illustration of sympathetic reasonableness, offering bits of knowledge into the advantages of close-to-home association without constraining change. Much obliged to you for going along with us today as we explore the intricacies of human way of behaving. Recollect the strength of your personality is estimated not by the shortfall of difficulties. Yet, by your reaction to them, embrace the insight of apathy. Improve your comprehension also. Change difficulties into venturing stones towards self-awareness. If it's not too much trouble, pause for a minute to observe one of the proposed recordings on the screen to proceed with your excursion with us. Much thanks to you for being a piece of indifferent diary where insight meets day-to-day existence together. We should develop an existence of excellence and peacefulness.